They say history is told by the winners, but what about the secrets that were erased? Imagine a gospel lost for centuries, one that questions everything we believe about Jesus, his words, and the very heart of Christianity. A book that shows Mary Magdalene, not just as a follower, but as someone special, a chosen disciple, a keeper of deep wisdom, and maybe something even more. But why wasn't this gospel included in the Bible? Was it forgotten, hidden on purpose? Or is there an even bigger mystery, an ancient secret lost in time, just waiting to be found again? The Gospel of Mary is different from any other. It talks about secret knowledge, a hidden path to truth, and ideas that didn't fit with what the early church wanted people to believe. It describes a Jesus who teaches the strength of the soul, not fear of sin, freedom, not blind rules. But these ideas were dangerous, too dangerous for those who wanted full control over faith. Tonight, we reveal the forbidden gospel, the lost wisdom of Mary Magdalene. We will explore its hidden pages, uncover shocking truths, and discover why this book was buried in history. What secrets did it hold? Who made sure it disappeared? And most importantly, what does it mean for us now? Stay with me as we unlock a truth they never wanted you to find. To understand why the Gospel of Mary was left out, we need to go back in time, before rules and churches, when Christianity was still a mix of secret teachings, hidden knowledge, and mysterious beliefs. The years after Jesus left were full of change and confusion. Many groups, each with their own ideas about his message, fought to be in charge. One of these groups was the Gnostics. They believed that true salvation didn't come just from faith, but from learning deep truths and having a personal connection with God. This is where the Gospel of Mary comes in. But unlike the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which focus on Jesus' life and actions, this gospel talks about the secret lessons he shared. It says that true wisdom isn't found in churches or ceremonies, but inside each person. But this led to a big question. If God's kingdom was inside us, if salvation was something personal and not about following a church, then why would people need priests, bishops, or religious leaders? And then there was Mary Magdalene herself. The church taught that she was just a follower or even a sinner who had to be forgiven. But the Gospel of Mary tells another story. It shows her as a leader, someone who understood Jesus' message better than even Peter. Could it be that Mary Magdalene was more than just a student? Was she the one who truly understood Jesus' wisdom? A keeper of lost knowledge? Someone who was erased from history for a reason? As the early church grew stronger, these ideas became dangerous. And like many other ancient writings that questioned authority, the Gospel of Mary was hidden away. But what exactly did it say? What secrets did it hold? Secrets so powerful that they were kept hidden for nearly 2,000 years. Now, let's explore the Gospel itself and uncover its lost truths. The Gospel of Mary doesn't start with Jesus' birth, and it doesn't tell the usual stories about his miracles or teachings. Instead, it takes us to a moment most people have never heard of, a secret conversation between Jesus and his closest followers after he came back to life. But the most surprising part? Jesus doesn't share his deepest wisdom with Peter, John, or James. He shares it with Mary. In these hidden pages, Jesus talks about a world beyond what we can see. He tells Mary that the way to salvation isn't through rules or churches, but through knowing the truth, directly connecting with the divine. He speaks about the soul's journey explaining how it must rise above the illusions of this world and break free from the forces that try to keep it trapped in fear and ignorance. These forces, called powers and authorities, act as barriers, keeping people from finding true wisdom. And then Jesus disappears. The disciples, confused and afraid, don't know what to do. That's when Mary steps forward, not just as a follower, but as a leader. She shares a vision, a message Jesus gave only to her. In this vision, she describes the soul traveling beyond this world, passing through different layers of existence. Along the way, dark forces try to stop it, pulling it back down. But these aren't demons like in traditional stories. They are doubt, fear, and ignorance, the things that hold people back. Her words are powerful. They change everything the disciples thought they knew. But instead of accepting her wisdom, they push back. Peter especially questions her. Why would Jesus share these secrets with a woman instead of them? And this is why the Gospel of Mary was hidden away. It doesn't just question the way the church was built. It challenges the idea of power itself. It asks, who gets to hold divine truth? Who has the right to lead? If Mary was meant to carry on Jesus' teachings, then what does that mean for the system that erased her? But this is only the start. The next part of the gospel holds even bigger surprises, ones that could change everything we think we know about sin, salvation, and what happens to the soul. Now, let's uncover the rest of the story. If the Gospel of Mary had just been another story, maybe it would have been allowed, like other mystical writings. But what it revealed was far more dangerous, a teaching so bold that it shook the very foundation of the early church. At the center of this gospel, there is a shocking and powerful idea. There is no sin. It is you who create sin when you act in a way that goes against what is right. This one statement challenged everything people believed. If sin wasn't an outside force, if it wasn't controlled by priests or written laws, but was instead something created by a person's own choices, then what power did the church have? For centuries, religions have taught that people are born with sin, that they are flawed and must follow strict rules to be saved. But the Gospel of Mary says something very different. It says the soul is already pure, and finding the truth isn't about feeling guilty. It's about remembering who we really are. And maybe that's why this gospel had to disappear. Just imagine what would happen if people believed this. A world where people look for wisdom inside themselves instead of following outside rules. A world where fear of punishment was replaced by the search for knowledge. A world where salvation wasn't something to buy through rituals, but something found through a personal connection with the divine. This gospel didn't teach obedience, it taught freedom, and it did so through a voice the church didn't want to accept: Mary Magdalene. Her role in this story wasn't just as a follower of Jesus. She was his true spiritual successor, the one who understood his message better than anyone else, the one the other disciples struggled to accept. In one of the most intense moments of the gospel, Peter, the disciple who would later become the leader of the church, refuses to believe Mary's words. He asks, "Did he really speak privately with a woman and not to us? Are we supposed to listen to her? Did he choose her over us?" Then Levi, another disciple, stands up and says, "Surely the Savior knew her well. That's why he loved her more than us." And there it is, the most challenging idea of all. If Jesus saw Mary as his equal, or maybe even as someone wiser than his male followers, how different would history have been? Would Christianity have been led by women? Would it have focused on personal growth instead of strict rules? We'll never know, because the Gospel of Mary was hidden away. It wasn't included in the Bible. It wasn't talked about in the meetings that shaped Christianity. It was silenced, just like many other lost texts that spoke of personal wisdom instead of religious authority. But now, after centuries, this gospel has been found again, and its message is just as powerful as it was back then. A voice from the past, reminding us of who we truly are, beyond fear, beyond rules, beyond control. The question is, are we ready to hear it? The Gospel of Mary is not just an old book. It's a guide to true freedom. Its message wasn't lost because it didn't matter, but because it was too strong. It taught that real wisdom doesn't come from outside rules, but from inside us. So how can we use these teachings in our own lives? How can we find truth the way Mary did? The first important lesson is that truth is something we find, not something others tell us. Many people say we must follow rules to be good, but the Gospel of Mary says we find truth by experiencing it ourselves. This means we should question things. Don't believe something just because someone says it's true. Think about it, feel it, and ask yourself, does this make sense to me? Does it make me free, or does it trap me? Am I doing things because I'm scared or because I truly understand? Real wisdom doesn't force, it opens our eyes. Another big lesson is that we must overcome things that hold us back. These are not monsters or bad spirit. They are everyday struggles like fear, guilt, and doubt. Fear stops us from trying new things. Guilt makes us feel stuck in our past mistakes. Doubt tells us we are not good enough. But Mary's story shows that these things only have power if we let them. Once we see them for what they are, they lose their strength. Taking time to sit quietly, think, and write down our fears can help us break free. Facing the parts of ourselves we hide away helps us become stronger. One of the most surprising parts of the Gospel of Mary is that it shows a woman as a teacher of deep wisdom. For a long time, many people thought only men could lead in religion, with strict rules and leaders in charge. But this gospel says we need balance. Wisdom is not just about rules, it is also about kindness, understanding, and trusting our feelings. This doesn't mean only women have these gifts, it means we all do. We should trust our instincts, listen to our hearts, and focus on kindness instead of control. Maybe the most shocking lesson in the Gospel of Mary is that there is no sin. This doesn't mean people can do whatever they want. It means we shouldn't live in fear or guilt. We are here to learn and grow, not to be afraid of punishment. So we must ask ourselves, am I making choices because I'm scared or because they feel right? Do I follow rules just because others say so or because I believe in them? The real message is that we should stop living in fear and start making choices that feel true to us. Mary's gospel tells us that we don't need to be saved. We just need to remember who we really are. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not separate from something greater. The journey is not about changing into something new. It's about waking up to the amazing person you already are. Taking deep breaths, sitting quietly, paying attention to our thoughts, and learning new things can help us feel this truth. But be ready. This path isn't always easy. When you think differently from others, some people might not understand you. They might even try to stop you. But like Mary, you must stay strong. The journey of inner wisdom is not for those who give up easily, but for those who are ready to awaken. So as we end this lesson, let it not be the finish, but the start of something new. If these ideas make you curious, don't ignore them. Keep learning, Keep questioning. Think deeply about what this means for you. And most of all, live by it. The wisdom of the Gospel of Mary isn't lost. It's already inside you, waiting to be found. Now, I leave you with one final thought. If the divine is within you, what's stopping you from embracing it? And that's it for today. If you want more secrets that history tried to erase, make sure you subscribe. There's more to uncover. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And always remember, truth is hidden in plain sight. Only the seekers will find it.